the young man at work, I told him, I said, you know, when he came to me and he's so happy, and he said, my mom's at home. It's like she got to come home last night. I just told him, I said, that's what God does. You know, he, not a praying boy, but wholeheartedly believes that prayer brought his mom home. And that's pretty cool, you know, at work, to be able to have those kinds of conversations. Today, I'm going to start out with kind of a silly question, something that anybody who's on Facebook will know the answer to. You'll say yes to this, but have you ever seen a picture of Amber and I on Facebook? There's always a picture of Amber and I on Facebook. It probably won't come as a surprise to you that Amber and I we don't like to be apart. During the week, we have to go to work, so you know that stuff you kind of get comfortable to. You kind of have to go to work. But where we struggle is at night. If I have something to do, or if she has something to do, and we're not together, it's one night out of the week, or maybe 2 nights out of the week, but we miss each other. You know, we're that close. If she has to go to her family's or whatever, we miss each other if we don't get to see each other. And even if I'm working on my message or whatever, and I'm in my office and I'm in there all night long, sometimes I go in there, it's always for my message, but sometimes I'll go in there and I'll just read. You know, I won't know where I'm going yet, so I'll just read. You know, so I'll be in there all night long. And it's a night that I'll just be in the next room, but we spend so much time together. When I don't get to be with her, I miss her, and she misses me. The next morning, I get up at 4:45. She doesn't get up till like 7, right? I don't know, I'm not there. But by 7:30, she's messaging me, I miss you, because we didn't get to see each other the night before. Now, I know you don't want to hear another story about how much I love my wife. I think I can maybe drive people a little bit crazy about that. Amber says that a lot of people probably get tired of seeing our faces on Facebook. Turn on your Facebook, you're like, another one, you know, whatever. But I bring this up because my message today is going to focus on fellowship. The title of my message is Why Fellowship? Since we're going to be meeting at our house after church today, I just thought I would talk about this today. I brought up Amber and I and how much we miss each other as an example of fellowship. Now, of course, Amber and I are husband and wife, so it's a little different. But our hearts as Christians towards each other should be the same, or similar to the same. I hear people say all the time that they don't need to go to church to believe in Jesus. Maybe not. But if you want to be faithful to Christ and follow His ways, then you should go to church and have fellowship with like-minded people, meaning fellow Christians. And this is what I want to try to show you today, how being around like-minded people can help us. But I want to start with Galatians 6:1 and 2. Brothers and sisters, if someone is caught in a sin, you who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently. That's a very good reason that we should get together in fellowship. We need to restore each other. When you're doing something in your life that's not quite right, or when you're doing something in your life that is really, really wrong, we need to get together and we can restore each other. We can help each other. But watch yourselves, or you also may be tempted. I'll talk about that more later. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. By doing this, we are fulfilling the law of Christ. The best way to carry this out is through fellowship with each other, not just in church, but like the picnic we're going to have today. Now I know that we all have certain individuals that we talk to more than others. There's people that we get along with better than others. We have people that we confide in more than others. But we should still all sense when a brother or sister is feeling down. We can tell when a coworker is having a bad day or a grumpy day. We should really be able to sense that in each other. We should be able to see that in each other. And maybe they don't want to talk to us. Maybe they don't want to talk to anybody. But we can sense that, and we can give them the appropriate attention that they need at that time, even if they're not asking for it. If you feel more comfortable talking to someone else than me, go right ahead. If you feel more comfortable talking to Amber or Carol or Bill, if someone else is more your style, go ahead. You don't have to talk to me. You can talk to whoever you want. I can still do my part to help restore you. Like I said, we should know if someone needs restored. We should know if someone needs our prayer. But we need to be in fellowship together so we can work together as a group of brothers and sisters. And this way we fulfill the law of Christ. This is what Christ wants of us, to be together and to pray for each other and to just lift each other up. If the law of Christ is to love one another as he loved us, then this is a necessary way to fulfill that law. Gentle restoration of a brother or sister in sin is a most loving action. I nor anyone else needs to know all the issues going on in your life to care for you and to show you compassion. You don't have to lay out everything in front of somebody for them to show you compassion. As brothers and sisters, we need to just say, hey, I got an issue and I need you to pray for me. That's all we need to know. Or, like I said, if someone's looking down, you don't need to know anything. You just pray for them. Fellowship is an important part of our faith. Coming together to support one another is an experience that allows us to learn, gain strength, and show the world exactly what God is. In Hebrews 10:23 through 25, let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. Everyone is involved in fellowship in one way or another. In some form or fashion, whether you know it or not, you're fellowshipping with people all the time. When you're at work, when you're talking with a coworker, or when you're getting your hair cut and you're talking to the hairdresser, or when you're buying your groceries and you talk to the cashier. All these moments in life is a form of fellowship. What do people see in you during these brief moments of fellowship? When you carry on small little conversations and that, what do they get out of you? These people are the best brief acquaintances that we may never see again. They are at best the brief acquaintances that we will never see again. When this brief fellowship time is over, what did they learn from you? Are you someone they hope to someday have the pleasure to running into again? Are you someone that if given the opportunity, they would quickly turn and run the other direction? Sometimes we only get a brief moment to make an impact on somebody. Sometimes Jesus that is in us only gets a brief moment to be seen through us. How do you make that come about? Or simply put, what would they see Christ in you or not? Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. When you have these brief encounters with people, what are you sharpening them for? We can make a person sharper by enlightening them to who Christ is. We may not even talk to them about Christ, but if we show the love of Christ, then Christ can work in that situation. You may not even have to bring up Jesus at all. You may not even have to talk about him. But when you leave, Christ is in us if you ask him in you, to come into your life. Can people recognize that, or what else can they see? If we don't show the love of Christ, it's harder for him to work in us, at least through us. If you don't show his love, it's hard for him to work through you. You see, God doesn't need to fulfill his will through you. He doesn't need you. But what a blessing it is to see a person grow because God is using you in that person's life. He doesn't need you. It's a blessing for you to get to be used by God. It's a blessing for you to get to see somebody grow because of what you've done. Fellowship at church helps us in other ways as well. We need interaction with people from time to time. We make friends, and we like to see our friends from time to time. What about the friends we made before we were saved, though? We like to come together and see each other. But what about the friends that we had before we were saved? We can't simply shut them out because we choose to live for Jesus now. But sometimes fellowship with old friends doesn't always turn out the best. Now, I think I've mentioned before that I've been to the county jail to minister there, and old friends, people that I know, they all kind of say the same thing, that they have a hard time going back to old friendship circles. The guys at the county jail, they don't want to go home. They don't want to go back to their communities or their friendships where they all came from. They easily fall back into simple bad behaviors. They have to stay away from those things. You know, my dad, this isn't in here, but my dad, I think he needed to retire. He drank a lot and was with his friends every day. He retired and started going to church. He got a new group of people that he could hang out with. You know, at work, they would all leave work and go to the bar. And he would, end up drinking at night. After retiring, he went to church. He made friends with the people at church. Now he likes going to church. He still occasionally will go to the bar. He likes to have coffee. Occasionally he'll have a beer. But he knows he has his church family. I don't know what goes on inside of him being an ex or an alcoholic. I don't know how he doesn't talk a whole lot. I don't know how that works out inside of him. That he can go to the bar and have coffee. I think it's because he knows he can go to church and have fellowship. Fellowship is important. My dad, for one, needs that. Bless you. If simple fellowship can have such an impact on people in a negative way, then how much more can fellowship with Christ-centered people have an impact in a positive way? If people get out of jail or are recovering or whatever, and they can go back to their fellowship circles that they used to have, if it can affect them negatively, then of course Christ-centered fellowship can affect us positively. There are times when just being with like-minded, Christ-loving people can lift your spirits without even telling someone you're feeling down or even depressed. Just coming to church sometimes can help. We need to spend time together as Christians so we can continually encourage one another. This world is a challenging place for all of us. Sin is everywhere, but we are all susceptible to sin. No matter what it is, if you have an anger issue, or if it is alcohol like my dad, no matter what the issue is, sin is everywhere, and we're all susceptible to something. On days like today, we can come together and just show each other some love. Now, please listen to me on this. I'm not trying to put myself down. I'm not saying this to put myself down, but my strength as a pastor is not in the ability to give a profound message. I'm not ever, I don't think anyways, who knows what God has planned. I'm not going to be the guy that can stand up here and give one of those superstar messages. I've been getting positive feedback lately, though, from people telling me that they have seen an improvement in me in the last year. That, who knows, maybe God will use me to be the guy that can give a really good message. But I just don't see that as what God is using me for. I can come up here and I can tell you what God lays on my heart for the week, but being that kind of speaker. I just don't see that in me. But every pastor, every person for that matter, does have their strengths. My strength is in loving on people. I love to just listen to people. I love to love people, and I love to listen. I mean, I love to talk as well, but I feel my strength is in listening. I lost my place. Anyhow, Amber and I have talked about doing this cookout at our house ever since we, well, not just came to True Hope. This is the kind of thing we want to do as pastors. When we first decided when we felt God calling us, we like this kind of thing, inviting people over to our house and just loving on people. We are so happy to finally have this day for you guys to come and visit. We really want you to feel comfortable. The house is open. Go in, do whatever you want to do, I don't want you to feel like, should we go in or, just go in, go in the house. The food will be in the house, so you gotta go in to get your food, but yeah, don't feel uncomfortable at all. We want you to feel comfortable there. I started this message today by talking about how much Amber and I miss each other when we don't get to see each other. We will never have the exact same kind of relationship with any of you that we have with each other. We're husband and wife. I can't have that same kind of relationship with anybody but her. Through the love we have for Jesus Christ, we can love each other even if sometimes personalities might clash. I will love Amber differently than I will love Carol, differently than I will love Kathy. I can't remember her name, so of course it's going to be different. But our love will be different, and sometimes, personalities might clash. When Amber and I first knew each other, we argued quite often. I was always right. Just saying, But anyhow, sometimes it takes a little while to see just how great I am. It took her a while. She had a hard time seeing that. I hope she sees it now. But I make a joke about it, but it can be true in many different ways, that people just don't get along. Now, when I was young, we played football a lot. The neighborhood kids and I, my brother, we would all get together. There's a big field behind our house. There was a business there, and they always kept it mowed nice. I think they saw us out there playing football, and they kept it mowed nice for us. And we were over there playing football all the time. I remember it getting dark, and my brother and one other kid were great quarterbacks. They could throw the ball very well. So they were always the quarterback. I was always a receiver or something, but it would get dark, and you could see they threw it. You'd be like, I know it's coming. Whoa, there it is. It'd get so dark that you couldn't even see the football, but we would just play football all afternoon long. And in school or whatever, there was the uptown kids, and we were the west side kids. Well, the uptown kids thought they were the best football players. The west side kids, we thought we were the best football players. Well, we decided to get a football game going. We were going to see who was the best. They were big and strong. We were small but fast. They wanted to play tackle football. They were big and strong. So we didn't want to, but we arranged it. We were going to play tackle football, and in my mind, I just thought, they're big. They aren't going to catch me. I'm not getting tackled by some of these big guys. So that's what we arranged. Well, my brother, nicely enough, the week before the game, got in a fight with one of the biggest kids on their football team at the skating rink. Well, it wasn't a fight because he was big and we were little, and we took off. But my brother got into an argument with him, and he was going to do what big guys do and make you smaller than what you were. But throughout the week, I kept thinking, I don't want to play. I don't want to play in this football game. I don't want to. And, of course, I talked to my brother, and we'd be like, yeah, well, we got this, we can do it. But then inside of me, I was like, I don't want to be creamed by this big guy. And I didn't get in the argument with him. My brother did, but it's my brother, so he was after both of us. Well, anyhow, the day of the football game came, and from the very beginning, there was a hill, and we were standing on the hill, and they were at the bottom of the hill, and we were kind of up on the hill, and nobody was really talking because they knew this fight was supposed to happen. But we started playing football, and they tackled us some, but we got away from them more. It ended up being a regular football game. When he did get a hold of us, he tackled us pretty hard. But anyhow, there ended up being a break, and my parents' house was the closest, so when we needed a drink, we would always just run over, do what they say not to do nowadays, and we would just grab the hose and everybody would get a drink. Well, we started on our way over, and his name was Brian. He was standing there, and I was like, hey, come on, man, let's go get a drink. And he kind of looked at us like, really? I've been running my mouth. I've been putting you guys down. I've been beating you guys down. And I was like, it's football, man. Let's go get a drink. So we all ran over and got a drink and been good friends ever since. We never really did fight. He knocked us down a few times in football, but we ended up drinking out of the same hose. And, that's kind of what I want to get at, is sometimes personalities don't mix, but they can. I don't know. I don't even remember why this kid wanted to beat us up. I don't remember at all. We've been friends ever since. If I see him today, he's still a big guy. And just really good friends. And in the church, sometimes you might not get along with somebody. But if you give it a chance, maybe knock them down, I don't know. But if you give it a chance, it can be forgotten. Whatever the issue was can be completely forgotten. Personalities might clash. But if I can win the big guy over, and if I can win Amber over, then we can get along in church. Amber and I knew each other for 4 years before we started dating. And we argued a lot. I don't know if it was misunderstanding or what, but all we can really grasp is that's the way God wanted it. We don't argue at all now. We miss each other so much that one evening apart, we're texting each other, I miss you. We went from fighting and arguing about everything, it seemed like. It just seemed like every time we'd get together, we really liked each other, but would end up in an argument. I don't know why, other than that's just how God wanted it. It wasn't time for us to be together. God does have timing. God's perfect timing is real, and it worked out for us. With that big guy, how that all worked out, I don't know. Boys fight, and then they stay mad at each other forever. That's just how it is. It worked out. It can work out. It should work out in church. I want to finish by repeating what it says in Galatians 6:2. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. Again, Galatians 6:2. Carry each other's burdens. If someone has a burden, you carry it for them. And in this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. Praying for each other does that. Fellowship with each other does that. You can help somebody get through something by fellowship with them. Listen to one another, love one another, and carry each other's burdens. And together, we can fulfill the love of Christ. Let's do that today.